Okay,
I
recording is
remember one.
started.
I remember one specific moment in that game where I took my army and attack moved into your locusts, and then I realized I had High Templar in the army, and I was trying to double click them and run them
Yeah.
away, but I kept clicking carriers, and I was staring into
Oh
this
god.
complete horror as all my High Templar moved into locusts and died.
Yeah, I saw. I watched that happen as well. It was a little painful, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
That was quite the game, guys.
just like two more Archons at that last engagement, and I could have killed those Corruptors, but
Yeah.
So first of
well
all,
played.
yeah, first of all, thanks for
Yeah.
playing. Those were really cool games, especially the third one, actually.
Yes,
Um,
and I want that third one. Just wanted to say something here. I want that third game to be a no for anybody who thinks that people only can rush because they can't play macro games.
well,
I lost, but it was still really close.
yeah, that was a neat.
It
Yeah, I
was.
was gonna say that was a neat macro game, but yeah. Um, yeah, thanks for playing, and we'll do the usual thing. If you want to let anybody know where they can find you, or if you have any shoutouts to anybody, now is a good time to do it. And then we'll start talking about the other games that happened real quick.
Cool.
So,
Um,
Printf, go ahead and start this time.
All right. Well, you can find my stream at twitch.tv/QuasarPrintf. I stream can rushing mostly, and I occasionally do like Mass Reapers or something silly like that.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Cool. And for me, you can find me at Twitch TV/ILFlux, and on Twitter at twitter.com/FrayFlux. Ah,
So go ahead and feel free to toss those in the chat later while I am describing the next thing. So pretty much I mean, everybody knows the kind of builds we're seeing at the beginning there. So instead of talking about the builds per se, let's talk about kind of the response thought process in games 1 and 2. So basically what you did in reaction to your opponent as the game went on. Printf, start first.
okay.
All right. So game one, it basically went exactly according to plan. I can rush. The gateway came up. It was slightly iffy at first because I had to do that weird pylon stuffs. Or is that a different game I'm thinking of? No, I think that was this game. And he had an expansion up and everything, but overall it worked exactly according to plan, and I won according to plan. So that was good. And then should he go on game one as well, or should I move on to game two now?
Wait on game 2. FLuX, your turn.
So game one, I got kind of rushed, obviously.
Yes.
I thought I had space on the cannon, so generally you want like 3 drones to the cannon, going up before 25% health. I only had 1 drone at the time, and my 4th drone that I had to pull couldn't get surface area, and I thought it could. It was kind of deceptive map features, I think, to do with the gateway positioning and the Vespine gas geyser. So I was kind of thrown off there, and I was gonna go for like a Roachling Nidus, but that only really works if they expand behind. So
Okay.
yeah,
Makes sense.
so I was kind of screwed at that point.
It happens. So as far as game 2 is concerned, so walk us through the same thing with that, Printf.
All right, so I figured there was probably a reasonable chance that he would do a 10 pool, but I thought I'd take a risk and hide my probe and basically guarantee myself a definite win if he didn't, and then if he did, I just try again third game. He 10
Mhm.
pooled, so despite the fact that my building placement and everything was as good as it could have been, I mean those early lings just completely shut you down.
Yep.
So then I was like, well, let's do a one-base Colossus timing, and those never work. So
Yeah.
Yeah, especially not with like that delayed. But it was a neat idea nonetheless. I haven't seen anybody try that in a while. It's kind of cool. FLuX.
Yeah, game two, I templed. So temple kind of just beats Ken Rush. So I was like, if it's going to every game, why not? I'll just throw it in.
Okay,
Get a free
so
win.
like
Yeah,
you
it's
hold
not,
off
it's
you
not a
hold
lot
off
to
the
analyze
cannon rush,
game.
and then what do you follow it up with? You got the hatchery and just go into roach from there.
Yeah, you just go hatch, because he's gone cannon rush, so he's gone forge, which means he's delayed his gateway and his cyber core.
Okay.
So you can just kind of be greedy. Um, any push that comes will be quite small because it's only one base.
Hmm.
So I'm basically just making drones to around 50, 55.
Okay.
I think I made a bit too many last in that game.
Huh.
And then I just made Roachling and then beat anything.
Makes
He had no
sense.
sentries because he had to spend all his gas into Colossus. So it was like Zealot Colossus,
Yep.
and you can't beat Roachling
Yep. Yep.
with Zealot Colossus.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the one that we all want to talk about probably is the third game. So the third game starts out like the other two. There's a cannon rush, and then what happens? Printf.
All right, so I figured he might do a an early pool, not like a 10 pool or anything, but like maybe even a 12 pool or something weird like that, knowing that I'm probably going to
Mhm.
Can Rush and then go into Macro Game after that. That's shut me down early. Uh,
Mhm.
but he didn't do that. I don't think. I don't think he did that.
Nope.
So I Can Rushed him anyway, and yeah, he went for a gas first, right? Oh,
Yeah,
that
that's right.
explains. Right. Okay. Yeah, so I Can Rushed, went into my normal build order and everything. I saw him going for the lair, so right. Yeah, I thought he might be doing a early thing, so I did a played my build like my natural, which I don't normally do. But yeah, so I saw him going for a lair, and then I sent my probe around, and I saw an infestation pit. But before I did
Mhm.
that, I got my can and my mineral line in case of Venitis. But I saw the infestation pit. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, swarm host. I know I can beat swarm host. I just need to get a lot of blink stalkers out, and then I can kill them before they get in any large numbers.
Mhm.
But that methodology and logic and everything only works if you don't go for gas first,
Yeah.
because you got a lot of swarm hosts up really early.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
nor if you go for pull first or half first or something, they're like 2 minutes later, and I can kill you
Yeah.
before you get them.
Exactly.
But I didn't really take into account that you went gas first, so that completely failed miserably. And then I was on the back foot, and then I was trying to expand actually as soon as I saw the swarm hosts, but I misplaced my gateways and
Yep.
stuff in my natural,
I
and
saw
they were
that
blocking
too.
my expansion. So I had to kill
Oh
that off
god.
eventually. It was a really bad transition.
Ugh.
So to combat the swarm hosts, I decided to go air, and then eventually had the idea to do my Wings of Liberty build with his mass carriers. Uh, and
Oh
then
god.
I kind of threw the game in like three different spots. I'm sure you made a whole bunch of mistakes as well, which is why it
Yeah.
was so close. I kept move commanding High Templar into Swarm Hosts, Locusts, and I kept getting my I got my Templar late anyway. But then I think I really lost the
Mhm.
game when my carriers were off on their own without any kind of ground support, and then they just get
Yeah,
completely
I
wrecked
agree.
by an army of corruptors. I think that was where I really lost the game.
Mm.
All right,
Mhm.
I
Flux.
think
Oh, I was gonna say, are you done? Sorry.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think at the end I should have been long distance mining with my probe sooner, but I was really afraid of his Zerglings.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yep. Cool. In terms of my viewpoint from that game, I opened 14-14 because I figured if he'd scout me uh, last, then I'd have Lings out to run across the map and do damage to his probe line. Um,
I did get you
like
last,
I
by
could
the
just
way.
run. Oh, you did? Oh, interesting.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
he scouted one
thanks.
probe across the top and then a second probe across the bottom. So it was
Ah, I
slightly
see.
quicker than a last scout with a single probe. But yeah,
Okay, it's
Yeah, yeah.
basically last.
it's basically last though. Yeah.
Basically, that's okay. Cool. That didn't work, obviously. So I went to one base swarm host, which is a transition that I sometimes do. It does work, like you said, if you go gas first and you have that gas up and running pretty early on. I did dump 100 gas into speedling, which I probably, in hindsight, wouldn't have done until after I had swarm host out. Um, but that's okay. So I went swarm hosts. I killed off all the cannons and the stalkers, which was pretty obviously bad for Printf. And then I expanded to my nat and then my third. I delayed my second queen to get my third up faster. And then I went into spines and swarm hosts and lots of drones. I cut swarm hosts for ages to make drones because I had the defenses up in my static defense and also my swarm hosts. And then I was gonna go into Muto actually until I scouted with an overseer and saw he had 3 Stargates already.
Yep.
And I just thought, nah, no point. So I figured I'd go into air upgrades anyway and just keep making swarm hosts and take a 4th and possibly go Muto later on, depending on how the game went. And then start going carriers, which is definitely different. So I was going into Corruptor, Spore, Swarm Host, Infester, Viper, which is ideally the composition you want versus a Skytoss army. I botched my micro so many times versus the carriers. Like, it's just a matter of really target firing with your Corruptors, using Corruption on every carrier you attack, and abducting as well onto spores. I engaged between my Nat and my third against his lots of Corruptors with lots of his carriers with my Corruptors, and I had Vipers and then miscontrolled all of them and lost all of them. I didn't fight over spores, which is another problem, and yeah, ideally, like, if he's moving across the map like that with his carriers on his own, and I have Vipers, I should be able to pick off, 4 carriers at a time, and then just back off. But obviously, I miscontrolled quite a bit. And then as the game went on, my swarm hosts got more and more useful, and my lings on the top left did a lot of work, and I just kind of made Corruptors.
Yeah, that was a pretty key moment, being able to take out those next side, because it made the army quite a bit less replenishable from that point on.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
really hurt. I was planning to get a bunch of cannons there, and I even had a couple pylons positioned at my 4th, specifically to place a cannon there, and then fall off, but I just forgot to do it. So we got to get cannons at other bases, and then just lost multiple Zerglings.
Yeah.
But as I hit, this game is kind of an endurance game once you start hitting that point where you've been playing for 40 in-game minutes. I'm not going to try and translate that to whatever it is in real time. I don't know the equation off the top of my head. But
it's 1.4 normal seconds, or 1.4 game seconds to 1 normal second.
So it had to reduce 40% of the time? Is that how that would work? No, I'll figure it out later. But in any case, do not want to do math while I'm doing this. But
yeah, never do math on air.
Yeah, anything beyond simple addition or subtraction, I can handle that. I can't handle anything higher. But yeah, this is one of those cool things, actually, like this particular type of game, just because you get to see tons and tons of tech switching by both players. But it's interesting. Anyway, I guess that more or less covers the games. So, any other comments you guys like to round this out with, and then we'll move on to setting up the next match, which is actually supposed to start in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess this ran longer than you probably expected it to, didn't it?
Let's just say this is the longest show match you've ever played in.
Yes, it is.
So congrats, yay! But yes,
Yay.
no, it's fine. It was still within the time period. But yeah, anything else before we wrap it up?
How much damage did my sniping of your third do?
A fair bit, but I kept my drones alive, so it wasn't really a big deal.
Kept the drones alive.
I had a 4th going up as well.
Yeah, the 4th was halfway up, so.
Okay, I didn't see that.
You did slow them down a little bit.
Not as much as I expected.
Not a ton.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Well played.
That's all done for me. GG, well played.
Yeah. Thanks,
Good
guys.
games.